Hey, 42 here. History is full of horrifying events, some of which are truly more terrifying than any fictional story. Here's some true stories from history that will chill you to the bone. The Italian Renaissance was a period in Italy's history of outstanding art and culture. This 200-year period gave birth to some of the greatest artists and artworks humanity has ever known, such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. But it also gave birth to something considerably more gruesome, a plague of real-life zombies. In 1494 was the first major outbreak of syphilis. Before antibiotics were invented, syphilis was a fatal infection, something to be gravely feared. The disease slowly ate away at the victim's face, causing their flesh to fall away, resulting in the complete destruction of their face and genitals within just a few months, and death would surely follow shortly afterwards. During this period, it was not uncommon to see Frenchmen and Italians walking around with half of their face falling off and their bare skulls exposed, just like a scene from a horrific zombie movie. Thank God for modern medicine. Henry Howard Holmes, better known as H.H. Holmes, is widely known as one of America's first serial killers. His body count is thought to be somewhere between 27 and 200. He achieved this by building a hotel in a bustling part of Chicago in the 1890s, and designed it to be the perfect killing arena to fulfill his sick desires. It later came to be known as Murder Castle. H.H. Holmes meticulously designed the hotel to be a complex maze of windowless rooms. He even hired a handful of different builders to construct the hotel in sections, so only Holmes would know the layout, making escape virtually impossible for his victims. Every inch of the hotel was designed to confuse and terrify his victims, including doors that only opened from the outside, doorways that opened onto brick walls, and a safe big enough to put a person inside to slowly suffocate them, and a chute that allowed Holmes to dump bodies from the upper floors to the basement, where two massive furnaces and a large supply of flesh-stripping acid was stored. The Roman city of Pompeii was once one of the greatest civilizations on Earth. Unfortunately, it is most famously known for the disaster that occurred there in 79 AD, when Italy's Mount Vesuvius erupted, wiping out Pompeii and burying it in ash for over a millennium. But even worse affected by the eruption was Pompeii's neighbouring city, Herculaneum. Just like Pompeii, Herculaneum was also spectacularly and horrifically buried in volcanic ash. But Herculaneum suffered a fate much worse than its more famous neighbour. Herculaneum was also hit by a superheated pyroclastic flow, which is a fast-moving current of hot gas and rock spewed out from a volcano that reaches speeds of 450 miles per hour. But the most deadly thing about this volcanic death cloud is that it can reach temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Its incredible speed meant the whole city would have been engulfed by a 1,000 degree cloud of gas in just seconds. This caused what must have been one of the most horrific sights in history. The human skull is full of liquids, and if you heat it up super quickly, it explodes. This is exactly what happened at Herculaneum in 79 AD. The 1,000 degree volcanic cloud caused people's skin to vaporize, their brains to boil, and their skulls to literally explode, all in under a second. which sounds like a very good reason not to live next to an active volcano, although this doesn't seem to have got through to the residents of Naples. During World War II, countless atrocities happened to humans, but animals received their share of suffering too. In 1939, during the run-up to World War II, the British government formed the National Air Raid Precautions Animals Committee. The purpose of the committee was to decide what people should do with their pets once war broke out. The biggest concern was that food shortages would have been made even worse due to people feeding their pets. So, to solve the problem, the British government sent out pamphlets called Advice to Animal Owners. It featured an advertisement for a specific type of gun, which was best suited to killing animals, and guidelines on how to humanely dispose of your pet. Within a week of the campaign being launched, 750,000 pets across the British Isles had been killed by their owners, or taken to purpose-built pet disposal centres. It has since come to be known as the Pet Holocaust. One of the most horrific stories from all of history was the Nanking Massacre. During the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, the Japanese Imperial Army captured the Chinese city of Nanking, which was then the Chinese capital. Over a period of 6 weeks, an estimated 300,000 unarmed Chinese civilians were slaughtered by the Imperial Japanese Army. But it gets worse. The horrific event is also widely known as the Rape of Nanking, because the Japanese forces raped and looted most of the city's residents before killing them. The Japanese soldiers even raped infants and the elderly, as well as forcing citizens to commit incestuous acts and many other atrocities on their fellow Chinese citizens. Ever since the massacre, in an attempt to maintain their pride, Japanese officials have outright denied that the event ever happened, claiming it was a complete fabrication and an attempt at anti-Japanese propaganda. Thanks for the view, subscribe for more Thoughty 2.